Let's go now live to Queensland and catch up with Pauline Hanson, One Nation founder and leader. Good to talk to you again, Pauline. We're talking about the cost of living there, and I talked a bit about it at the top of the program. One Nation has done a sample of attitudes across this nation and concerns. Surprise, surprise, cost of living is right up there.
It is. Cost of living is one that's on the agenda. Also education, they feel in the classrooms. There's racial discrimination in the classrooms. Family law is a matter also, child support. And then you've got the nursing homes. COVID is very much on the minds of people as well. So it's a cross-section of feedback that we got from the general public.
Yeah, I haven't seen the details of your survey. I've seen the way you've summarised it, so I don't know how big your sample it is or how scientific it is. But tell us about the cost of living pressures. Where's it hitting hardest? What areas geographically are feeling the cost of living pressures hardest? And what are the bills that are going up most that are concerning people?
It's the electricity costs, Chris, that we're finding that's right across the board with everyone. Doesn't matter whether you're in the cities, whether you're in rural and regional areas, but the cost of living has been driven up by electricity costs. Small businesses, industries, manufacturing are also feeling the cost of electricity, which is driving their productivity down. The cost of wages, that's another thing that's also that businesses can't afford the cost of wages, increased wages, and all the other benefits that are going with it. Every year, you're getting extra like domestic violence leave, you've got all these other leaves, and of course the businesses have to pay for that, which is passed by the legislation in the Parliament. So it's really the cost of living is the driving factor, and I've spoken that many times on your program, that it needs to be reined in if we want to see productivity increase in our country, investment, and just listening to James Patterson, he's mentioned there a lot of things that is hitting people across Australia. But we want to keep in touch with our members and the people of Australia as a political party to understand what their concerns are. And that's what drives policy with One Nation. And that was quite evident in the last election when we put out policies with regards to pensioners, in middle income splitting, to actually help people stay at home, and also self-funded independent retirees. Cost of living, we could drive it down, put more money back in the pockets of Australians, and the cost of running governments that needs to be adhered to. We need to look at why the cost is so high and this government spending.
Well, I find it astounding that the government is having this productivity roundtable just a couple of months after winning the election. You would have thought they'd have some ideas themselves on how to improve the economy and productivity, but they're going to have this roundtable to be a big union influence there. So in terms of freeing up the labour market, we know that's not going to happen. Jim Chalmers seems to be focusing on tax. Now, of course, useful tax reform could be useful, but do you have any confidence that they're going to actually try and streamline the tax system, or are we looking possibly at tax increases here in some sectors?
They have to. There's only two ways of actually collecting taxes, is through productivity, raising that, and income from our resources that is sold to overseas, and that's where we get a lot of our money from agriculture and the mining sector. They're destroying both of them. So therefore, the other tax they can get is taxing people more. So whether they look at increasing the GST, which One Nation totally opposes, or they actually increase taxation. And this government has totally, constantly gone after high income earners in Australia, that is keep taxing them more and more, and the Greens encourages that as well. You can't keep taxing people that are paying their rightful taxes and paying more as well, and giving out handouts to those people who don't want to work and sit around doing nothing, think it's their right to get a welfare payment for their life because they want their own standard of living, their own way of life, without contributing to society.
Thanks for joining us, Pauline. I wish we had better news for everyone, but we'll see what happens. Thanks for joining us, Pauline Hanson there.